Hey guys, and welcome to the book review. This week we're going to be doing the Broken Eye in the Lightbringer series. So last week we did the last one. I can't remember what it's called. But this week we're going to do the Broken Eye. Now, in reading this book back for the second time, I did find a lot of things in there that I didn't see last time. I thought it's a very good book. Don't get me wrong. There are a few flaws in there, but I think it's a very good book. I would probably give it, because of the ending of the book, I would definitely give it like an 8, maybe a 9 out of 10. Yars. Yeah, an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Obviously the Broken Eye is by Brent Weeks. Sorry, yeah. I've got notes down here, so in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I'm looking at my notes that I've taken for when I've been listening and reading the book, just so I can keep track. So let's talk about Gavin, because the last time we saw Gavin, he was a slave on a ship, and it's quite interesting when you see his character. He was quite light. Like from the first book, his travel has been he's quite light, quite good, but he's all powerful. Now he's been struck down into he has 0 power, and he's in a battle for his life constantly now, which is interesting to say the least. Now I'd like to see. I don't know. I'd like to see a little bit more, because in this one as well, he sort of gets humbled, because he's a slave. Then he escapes with the help of is it Travago? Titus Travago. I can't remember the exact name, but of Titus's brother. I can't remember his name, but he's part of that family, and his sister capture him, and they keep him in prison. They torture him, obviously. And even near the end of the book, they burn one of his eyes out, which is kind of crazy. On their command of, what's her name, the crazy woman who has the orange seed crystal of the Bane, which is kind of as again crazy. Nakaba, that's it. That's her name. She's Nakaba. Is it Nakaba? I believe it is. Or no, it's Nakaba. Yeah, the Nakaba. And she's kind of a crazy character who's she wants revenge on his family, the same as the woman who captured him in Blood Forest, which is kind of an interesting. I found it quite interesting, and the way that they actually got word, and he actually escaped in the end, and was rescued by obviously his wife Karis. So I was kind of interested in that. I thought that was really cool, and the character development of Gavin through that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, he's becoming a very dark character. But he's becoming a very dark character who won't do dark things, which is interesting because, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's nice to see as well. We're starting to see more of the world. We've seen a little bit of Blood Forest now. It's like in every book we see a little bit of a different place, which is kind of cool. Of the 7 satrapies, we don't really know what's outside the 7 satrapies, which is I mean, it's okay, because it's a sandbox world. You're not going to know what's outside the 7 satrapies. It's like any book. It's like with, let's say, it's not use. I'm trying to think of a book now, I don't know, maybe like let's say Harry Potter. Like Hogwarts, you only really find out what's in Hogwarts, and you've got the Dark Forest, and then you've got the couple of other schools you see in the Triwizard Tournament, but you don't really know what is everywhere, if you see what I mean. You have the distinct locations they visit, so I suppose that's pretty cool, but it doesn't tell you a huge amount about the world, like let's say Game of Thrones does, which does very well. Obviously in their books they have massive maps, and they'll tell you about what happens halfway across the world, and they've got all lore books and all that. That's pretty cool, but I just think that's that's a very unique thing to. No, I wouldn't say it's unique to Game of Thrones, but I would say it's very Game of Thrones-esque in my opinion. I don't think you always need that. It depends if you're going for a fully flushed out world. Because if you, let's say The Name of the Wind, which is one of my favourite books of all time, they talk about places, but you never go there. But then they don't say somewhere halfway around the world. If you see what I mean? Which I don't know. I think it's okay the way they lay the book out, because they don't expand into these places outside the seven satrapies. So you don't have to know about that really, because nothing really comes in from outside of there, which is interesting. Which is, that's the way Brent Weeks has written this. So yeah, another really cool thing about Gavin is it goes back in time, which I thought was really cool with the character development. And you saw it happen just after, obviously, Sundered Rock, with the Sunday where he murdered a load of people. Well, he murdered a load of drafters and released them on Sunday. Sorry, but I thought this is a really cool thing that the book has foreshadowed. I think that in the last book, Kip's going to get hold of the Blinder's Knife and the bone arrow thing, and he's going to say, no, this isn't to blind people with this. This is on every Sunday. Every person who's about to turn white, you'll stab slightly, but you won't stab to kill them. You'll just give them a little jab, and then obviously their drafting will go back, because that's what happened with Andros. So if you give them a quick jab of it, obviously their stuff will recede, and so they'll have all their drafting life back. And all he has to do is do that every Sunday to all the drafters who are about to break the halo. And even if they break the halo, all he has to do is give them a jab and they'll recede back to normal. I mean, that was a massive thing that I think they foreshadowed in this book, and I think within the stage of the books that will happen. I mean, unless I'm taking it out of context, but I seriously think that is the way the book will go, and I think that was the way the Blinder's Knife is meant to be used, and the way the prisms get his power is, let's say, prisms only have their power every 7 years apparently. So I reckon it's like they absorb all the power in the Blinder's Knife, and when the Blinder's Knife becomes full, maybe a new prism is elected then, because then obviously that knife is full and somebody else can carry on, and the old prism obviously can retire then. I reckon it's something like that. Something like that has happened, but something has obviously diluted it down in the past, because it seems to me that a lot of the book shows these little snippets and little things, but but that's the way I think. That's the way I think you could get around all this. Sunday kill all the drafters. No, get the Blinder's Knife, give them a little jab, recede that, and then all they have to do. I mean, if they lose their drafting ability, so what? It just means they, they basically they're gonna have to live a normal life, even if they just take all their drafting ability away. But if they're like Andros, you just give them a little prick, and then they don't lose their drafting ability because you don't recede it that much. Quids in, like, you're getting unlimited drafters. Drafters can live a long life, and yeah, I think that would be amazing, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I mean, I think I've hit the nail on the head. And I think it was really cool the way it went back into Blood Wars and showed the way that Gavin resolved that with the lottery, like he called it, when he killed all of the troublemaker blood foresters, which was really cool. And then it went into detail to say, like, afterwards a relative of his took vengeance on somebody, and he was like, oh, wow, that's silly of you, because now I have to kill you. And he just, I don't think he actually did it, but he sent somebody, dismembered him. I don't think it tells you in the book, I can't remember exactly, But yeah, he's found dismembered in the town square or something the next day, and it's like, ooh, that's crazy. So I thought that was really cool. And I think, like I said, I think we've hit the nail on the head there with the blindness knife. So I think that was really cool. Another thing that I thought was interesting in this book was Tia. Like, obviously, in this book, she's pretty much been giving a mission from the White, or no, in the last book. It's quite hard doing all 4 books after one another. They sort of meld together. Obviously, she is giving a mission to infiltrate the Broken Eye, and Murder Sharp obviously gives her a quite brutal initiation when he literally just, he literally kills somebody in front of her, wipes the blood on her, and says, "Okay, now escape." And it's quite a brutal initiation, but I thought it was really cool. And I think it's really cool the way she's developing her peril powers as well. She was given somebody to practice on, I believe it's either in this book. I think it was in this book. She's given somebody to practice on to train her peril powers. And as well, like, she steals the Shimmer cloak, but Kip gives her like the Master cloak, and I think she's like more determined than ever to take down the Broken Eye after the White dies, and the White's obviously been murdered by Murder Sharp with the peril strings, which is kind of chrazy, but it's interesting to she's got a really interesting storyline. I really like her storyline. With her and Kip, the chemistry is there. Something's going to happen there. I don't know what, or maybe it's not going to happen. I'm not quite sure. It's like a forbidden love at the moment. But with Kip and Tysus, they're like, she went to seduce Andros Guile. He knocked her back, and he's basically said, "Okay, Kip, you can have her." And then Kip's she's propositioned Kip for marriage, and Kip's accepted that, and it's very sketchy, but it's pretty. It's interesting the way the Tia's and Kip's relationship have come from friends and partners to sort of lovers in the space of like a day or two, but on this day as well that he's supposed to marry Tysus, and it's like Kip's kind of on a roller coaster ride at the moment with all the females in his life. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I kind of like the way they've gone into like history as well. And it's like obviously like the Blood Forest, and a few other history bits, like when Kip gets obviously all the cards attached to him when he finds all the cards. And I thought that was really cool. And then obviously he goes into that strange place. We don't really know where that place is. It doesn't really explain that. And that's one thing I really like about it as well. It explains like there's bigger things going on in the universe than Kip, the Lightbringer. I think he's the Lightbringer. If he's not, then I don't know. But there's bigger things going on than just Kip. There's these forces of good and evil battling each other in the shadows. Obviously you've got Gavin trying to do his thing. You've got Andros trying to do his thing. There's so many different intricate little things that are at play at this moment in time, which I really like that they don't just focus on one character. I mean, that's really cool and all, but if they did that, on book 3, we would be 3/4 of the way, or we would be done with the story of Kip. Like, we'd be moving on to somebody else, like his descendants or something. It would be very hard to stretch that out, especially because of the progression of the stories is very fast. Like, you'll jump 6 months, you'll jump 4 months, you'll jump a month, you'll jump a week during this. But yeah, I think that was really cool. Obviously, I talked about that. It was quite interesting the way that in this book, like, Keris has taken on the role of the Spy Master. I really like that. But I don't really see Keris as the Spy Master, and obviously at the end she becomes the White, which I do like better because I think she would be better at having a spy mistress or master or whoever appointed, and her actually taking more of a leadership role, because I think she was in line to lead the Black Guard after Iron Fist ended, but more than likely she was going to burn out before Iron Fist. But it was interesting that she was a spy master, and then she was the White, and it showed you like that the White had been grooming her for years, and it showed the White played the long game, the very, very long game. Another thing, like what happened with Iron Fist, like working for the Order of the Broken Eye. That's it, the Order of the Broken Eye. I thought that was crazy. Like, I was like, what? Like the one guy in the whole story I didn't think would be working for like the Broken Eye was Iron Fist, and all of a sudden he's working for the Broken Eye. It was like, what? It was a bit crazy. I really did like that twist. That was a really good twist in the storyline. It was a bit crazy, but yeah. I talked about the. Well, I really liked. I know this is silly, but I really like Grimwoody's character. He's crazy, man, and he's obviously part of the Broken Eye. But his character is really, really interesting, because obviously he's Andros Gar's slave. He's trained in the Blackguard, which actually does tie into Iron Fist, obviously. He's Iron Fist's uncle. Like, where did that come from? I don't know. I think it's really, really crazy, his character, and he obviously serves Andros Gar, so he's right there next to the person who's making all the plays, and then reporting that back to the Broken Eye. And it's like, okay, it's really crazy. Grimwoody is one of the most craziest people I've ever seen. Yeah, let's talk about Kip now. Like, he's obviously the main character. There's a few other things I want to talk about apart from Kip, but let's talk about Kip. Like, he's starting to really develop in this book. Like, he's starting to become sort of a leader-esque. But he's sort of on his own. He's starting to get more politically adept, I would call it, more politically adept. His magic's come along, especially when he was stranded on that island. Like, when he was stranded, he was like, and that woman took care of him, obviously. And he was drafting like blue for, was it blue or green? Sorry, no, I think it was green for the old drinking, and obviously boots, and then drafting a fire. And he was thinking about magic first, and obviously then he discovers streaming and all this other stuff, which is kind of interesting to see Kip do things like that. I'd like him to. There was something I thought about the other day. I can't remember exactly what it was. I didn't write it down, but it was like a really, really easy cheat for like doing magic, which yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, I can't remember. I'll maybe bring it up in the next video. But it's interesting that Kip is a full spectrum polychrome. He doesn't use a lot of, like, let's say, he doesn't use orange. I barely see him use orange a little bit, doesn't he? When they escape, and I think that is probably the best scene in the best bit in the whole book is when they escape and they're thinking things out, and it shows you like the combat and how easy it is. It's just crazy. But I think that Kip could do with utilizing like sub-red, red. Sorry, and ultraviolet better, because there are several parts in the book where he would be facing people, but he wouldn't use ultraviolet to tag them to shoot something down towards those lines, or he wouldn't use, let's say, you'd have sub-red, and maybe you could put it in a chamber of blue, and then ignite the sub-red and have something shoot out pressurized. You see what I mean? So you could create like a portable gun or a cannon, or just like red pyro jelly in a blue Luxon shell, throw it, hit it with like a fireball, and then just send shrapnel everywhere because of the pressure. I'm not sure how if that would work, but do you know what I mean? It's just more creative ways to use that. I know he's busy and everything with training and everything else, but his training is to get better at magic. You can see the progress, but he's been at it for like 2 years. In 2 years, I'd have some crazy inventions. I'm just gonna say. It's interesting. He gets access to the restricted libraries and all this like war magic, but he still doesn't. I don't think he's developed enough in the book time. In the time you're reading it, if it was like a few weeks or months, months I would say, you could understand at his level. But he's been at the Crimea now for at least a year, maybe 2, because no 2, no 1. 1, yeah 1 because he leaves on just before the Sunday, doesn't he? And he arrives there just before the Sunday, in the first or second book. I think it's the first book. He arrives in the Chimera just before Sunday, because then they have the battle at the city on Sunday or just before Sunday, because you got the drafters who how don't they? So I think 100% think that they could do with doing something there. I don't know what, just something, like, because I don't think he's made enough progression in a year. If you see what I mean, I know he's got to learn his other things, but I just think he could do more. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Another interesting is Kip versus Andros. Kip seems to be, he's not holding his own against Andros. Obviously, nobody holds their own against Andros. He's ridiculous. But it's interesting to see him try to hold his own, and the way he's starting to understand and become more adept against Andros. But Andros has a respect towards Kip, and he wants him to serve him. And he seems to be really trying to give Kip a chance to serve him as well. Like Simon, he literally shut him down. Is that this book? It is this book, because he becomes the prison-elect in this book. So he shuts Simon down straight away as soon as he gets to the Chimera. So he's like, yeah, shut up. But Kip, he seems like he's quite patient with Kip, because I think he has learned... yeah, he's like has a respect for Kip. Obviously, while Kip's escaping, they use all sorts of magic, pyro jelly, orange Luxon for slipperiness. And he has a big green ball where he bounces down the stairs, this is okay, I suppose, but why didn't you just send a big green ball down the stairs on its own? Why did he have to be inside it? But I would have liked to, I don't know. It just irritates me. You know what I mean? It just irritates me. But obviously, we had there was actually a death in this one. It wasn't like a main character, but it was like a main side character. If you see what I mean, it was like Tremble Fist. But Tremble Fist's death was interesting because it sort of gave Iron Fist a decision to make. Like, and obviously Kip and the others they got away because of Tremble Fist, and I'm guessing they'll never forget that. But then Iron Fist has got this decision to make. Does he go after Kip for revenge? My bad. Does he go after Kip for revenge of Tremble Fist, or does he join Kip in remembrance and honour of Tremble Fist? And I think that's going to be a really interesting decision to see what Iron Fist does. Obviously, he's been given the orders that he doesn't have to kill Kip at all. He can join him and get close to him, and try to sway him into the way of the eye, the broken eye, which is interesting. It's interesting, but I found this book really interesting. I would definitely give it, an 8 out of 10. I would like to give it a 9 out of 10, but I can't, because Kip doesn't learn enough about magic, nor does anybody else, if I'm perfectly honest. They all rely on their blackguard training. None of them rely on magic at all. And it really irritates me. If you're a drafter, right, how much is it going to cost you in your life to draft a ball that big? Shoot at somebody. Or to, like, when they're going down the stairs, if it's a spiral staircase, just draft a blue blade and that you can push down, so it has like something on here or something, so it can just go down the stairs or roll down the stairs, which so it stabilizes it, like, I don't know, like two planes scooped up slightly straight down the stairs, like a ski, straight down the stairs. And if it's a spiral staircase, it will just keep rolling down and down. I don't think it was. I think it was a square staircase, but just things like that, just simple little inventions that you can use to gain advantage. But yeah, I just thought it was a bit, some things I didn't like. Let's just say that much. Sorry. Yeah, some things I didn't like, some things I did, so I'll give this book an 8 out of 10. Next week we are going to do book 4. Where's book 4? Book 4 called? Ah, it's my phone. Sorry, I got my phone. So book 4, and that's the last book, not in this series, but it's the last book that we have to go into, because the next one's coming out in August of this year, I believe. So we're going to go for the Blood Mirror. So next week we're going to do Brent Weeks, the Blood Mirror. If you guys can read, and there will be spoilers obviously, and then we can talk about the book. I'll talk about what I thought about the book, the specific things, and like the characters, and what I thought was cool, what I thought was bad. And, you know, like I've been doing here. I mean, if you guys, whatever you guys think, leave in the comment section down below, and maybe we can, we can chat about it. Obviously, if we can get enough subscribers to the channel, I'd love to do a live, like a stream, obviously on Twitch, where we can actually do a book club backwards and forwards, a proper one. So yeah, next week will be my brain. I just looked at it. The Blood Mirror. Was it the Blood Mirror? Yeah, the Blood Mirror. So next week will be Brent Weeks, the Blood Mirror, the 4th book in the Lightbringer series. After that, we're going to go into a new series. So any of you guys who got suggestions for that, leave it down in the comment section down below, or I will pick a book at random and then we will go on to that. So yeah, whatever you guys want to see me listen to, talk about, that, do leave a comment section down below, and we will get on that. I mean, I have loads of books that I have like audiobooks and things that I listen to, because obviously I work where I have a lot of time during work. I'm still working obviously, but it's like, if you can listen to your headphones while you're working, because most of the time you're working on your own. So I get a lot of time to just sit down and chill, listening to things while I'm still working. It's very stupid, okay. But hope you guys have enjoyed. As I said, comment, subscribe, tell me down below what book what book we should talk about next and listen to. Until next time, see you later and goodbye.